The Google Pixel 6 price drop in the store. Both models were dropped. The Pixel 6 Pro is now $699, with the Pixel 6 getting a $100 haircut at $499. And I have my friend Admiral Akbar here to help me out today with, of course, it's a trap. Not a bad trap, all right? It's not something that they're trying to... There's no gotcha here. There's no you're getting a bad phone for that money. At $499, this is a phenomenal deal because you can't look at it from the standpoint of the previous 9 months of this device. Now, having used Android 13 on here, I'm looking at that value given the next 24 months of this device, the next 36 months of this device. And for that money, this is a phenomenal steal. But Google's not a charity. They're in it, and they're doing that for a reason. Much like Apple, they are extremely aggressive in discontinuing models that are a little bit older. So they don't like to undercut their own prices. They don't like to have it where there's a very attractive offering that's just $100 or so cheaper. So in my mind, I think they're blowing these devices out. They're clearing out inventory. It's not a coincidence that the 6A comes out in a couple, 2-3 weeks time. It's not a coincidence that 2 or 3 months from now, we're going to be getting the 7. So my advice is this. If you were okay at $599, hold off. Hold off to see what the 6A is going to give you, but more hold off and see what the 7 is going to give you, because if the 7 comes in at $599 with the Tensor 2, with the other improvements that they're going to have there, then you're getting an extra year of support. It's worth it to hold off for 2 or 3 months if you're not in dire need of a device. If you're somebody who doesn't care about the latest and greatest, if you're somebody who, listen, $100 is $100. If you feel like this is going to be your device for the next 2 or 3 years, you're not worried about the 7, don't really care, wouldn't spend $599 anyway, but you're looking for that premium Pixel experience, $499 is a heck of a good deal. And I don't want to discourage people from buying this phone at $499 because I think it's absolutely a great deal. But just go in with your eyes open. Understand why they're doing it. Understand the calendar, the time of year. Why would Google be blowing out this device right now? It's because they're making room for the other devices that they have coming into the pipeline. And they don't really want this in the lineup because you look at the Pixel 7 design that they've leaked so far. They leaked themselves, so really, I don't know if you could call it a leak, if it's an announcement. The Pixel 7 design that they've announced so far, pretty similar. You know, you're not getting a whole heck of a lot of difference. There's some camera stuff designed for the camera hump in the back that's a little different. You are getting Tensor 2, which should have some improvements. You are getting Android 13 kind of built in from the ground up, so you hope that the improvements that they've shown with Android 13 on this device carry over, since they're going to have all that extra lead time and all the mistakes that they made with this device on launch. They're going to have a chance to rectify those, make sure things are ironed out for October when the device is released, late September, early October, when the next, or late October, I don't know when they do it exactly, but when the next Pixel, when the Pixel 7 comes out. And the other thing is that I don't think they want this hanging around with the Pixel 6a coming around. So I think they want to do kind of a last hurrah for the Pixel 6, get as many out the door as possible before the 6A kind of fills that price point in the lineup, and that's going to be $449. So you're going to be looking at a very similar design and a Tensor chip at $449, and then you're going to look over here and say, wait a minute, for $50 more, I could get something like this. I could get the flagship build in addition to the Tensor performance. Why wouldn't I just spend the extra $50? They're not dumb. They're not going to do that to themselves. So I think it's the last hurrah of the 6, but take advantage of that. If you understand that, if you're somebody who, like I said, doesn't care about the latest and greatest, this is a phenomenal deal for $499. Like a ridiculous deal for $499. If you don't need the $699 on the Pro, that's okay too. I mean, that's a good deal. That's a $200 cut. That's quite nice. But to get $100 off of this, which is already aggressively priced, is quite nice. And I just did the video a couple days ago. I'll link it at the end of this video. It'll be kind of the video that leads you over doing that. And I can't rave enough about Android 13. So if you had this device on 12, and I got a lot of comments on people saying, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I'm still using this on 12. I'm still sucking wind. Yeah, I get it. I was too. Not nearly as many problems as there were on release, but there still were a couple hiccups here and there on 12 to make it feel still a little wonky. Android 13, none of that. None of that. So if you were worried, if you were waiting because you kind of had to wait and see about this device, I'm telling you, the future of this device looks really bright. So if you're somebody who, you can't stand a plastic build, you don't want to spend $449 on kind of a budget or mid-tier build, you want that flagship experience, you want the flagship performance, Android 13 is going to provide that for you on the Pixel 6 the way it's configured right now. So you add in that really cheap price of $499 and you got yourself a winner. You really do. But if you're somebody who's okay spending the $599, don't have that kind of gotta have it mentality. Don't have that hole in your pocket burning that money. If you're okay with $599 at this point in the cycle, you gotta wait a little bit, right? This had, like I said in the other video, and you'll see when I talk about how you want a Pixel 6, the future of the Pixel 6 is bright, but if you're just jumping on that train, wait for a deal. Well, this is the deal. So if you're somebody who was looking at that and said, hey, I'm ready, $499 is the entry point. But understand that at $599, most likely, inflation, it might be $649. You don't know. I wouldn't put it past them, just the price and the cost of things. If the Pixel 7, the base model, they say, oh, well, it's Tensor 2, well, it's this, that, and the other. They add a couple features to it, and then come out at $649, and then this becomes a heck of a lot more attractive. But they're not going to give you that option. They're not going to let you wait and see. So you're going to have to go ahead and gamble on that one. Do you think that it's going to come in a little bit more expensive? Do you think it's going to hold at $599, or you just don't care? You want a sub-$500 device? That's it. You're not interested in the 6A because you're not interested in a budget build. You're not interested in the plastic and the other corners that they had to cut there, and you just want, listen, I want a premium flagship phone that's going to have a future. It's going to get a few more years of support. Good support if Android 13 is any sign. It's got the fast refresh rate, 90 hertz. It's a 1080p display, but it's a quite nice one. Flat display, which I like. You're getting that Google Pixel camera, and you're getting the build, which is phenomenal. It's the best Google build yet, by far. Best Google build. So if that's interesting to you, $499 certainly is something. Store.google.com. I don't know if I'll put a link in this. I mean, you know where to buy these things. It's Google. I don't think it's on Amazon. I wouldn't get it on Amazon because if the price is the same, get it through Google. You got your finance options. You throw a trade in there. If you got a Pixel 2, if you got a Pixel 3, get yourself a couple bucks off, pick this up, and you're set. You're set for a few years at least to come. So that's what I wanted to highlight. Listen, I love it at $499, but like Admiral Akbar, I wanted to make sure that you understand. By the way, Admiral Akbar is alive in my universe. I don't care what they did in The Last Jedi. That doesn't count. Seriously. Admiral Akbar is still alive and well on the bridge of his ship, commanding whatever. All right? Just so we're clear on that. I don't want any confusion there. But anyway, if you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, the visor. Have that Steve Delicious day.